Billionaires and a Hollywood elite throwing a lot of money at President Biden's re-election campaign. The Biden Victory Fund hauling in $70 million in the fourth quarter of 2023. $1.8 million of that came from Steven Spielberg and his wife, Kate Capshaw, George Soros adding over $650,000, and J.J. Adams and Eric Schmidt, Schmidt being the Google Schmidt, not the Republican from Missouri. That would be weird. Both contributing $500,000 each. Joe Concha is a Fox News contributor. Joe joins me now. Joe, it's great to see Democrats as the party of the working man.
Well, this ain't your daddy's donkeys, your Democratic Party anymore, Todd, right? And this was once the party that claimed to champion the working men and women in this country. This was the party, you remember, not too long ago that led the Occupy Wall Street movement. Now it's the party of billionaires, of the elites. Here's a stat for you. The 10 richest congressional districts in the United States all have representatives in Congress with a D next to their name. So if you live in a rich place, there's a good chance a Democrat is going to be representing you. Overall, the Democratic Party, Todd, now has more billionaire donors than the Republican Party by a country mile. And this perception is going to cost them in the states that matter, like Ohio, like Michigan, like Pennsylvania, like Wisconsin, because those that don't have billions are the ones that are donating to the grassroots, and that money is going more towards Donald Trump right now than the Democratic Party.
I agree that the perception is going to influence the voters, but we have to keep in mind they're raising money for a reason, and money does matter in elections. And in January, the RNC hauled in $12 million. That's over $2 million higher than any month during 2023. And they're celebrating this. They're pretty happy with this. But if you look at cash on hand November of 2023, both parties, the DNC had $20 million. Republicans only had $9 million. So how do Republicans compete with this when the Democrats are getting this big money from Hollywood, from big business, from corporations, a lot of big money rolling into the Dems?
I don't think, Todd, necessarily that Republicans need to take in more money. If they can stay within striking distance, then we're fine. If you look at 2016, then Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton raised twice as much money or spent twice as much money than Donald Trump, and he still was able to win that election because, A, the cake is baked as far as your perceptions of Donald Trump and Joe Biden, and B, with social media and everything else out there that gets messaging out for free, I'm not sure buying good old-fashioned TV ads has the impact that it used to, so money may not mean as much as it used to as well.
I didn't hear a word you said about not buying TV ads, Joe. Blah, 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 blah. Sorry. Finally, it is
Except on Fox News.
I have a minute and a half left in my week. I don't want to get fired for cursing, so I'm going to be careful with this next script. Biden reportedly letting F-bombs fly when talking privately about Donald J. Trump. Politico saying the president has described Trump to longtime friends and close aides as a sick expletive. According to one of the people who has spoken with the president, Biden recently said of Trump, what a expletive the guy is. But don't believe the article. Watch Biden almost slip up in public.
Trump and his MAGA supporters not only embrace political violence, but they laugh about it. And he thinks that's funny. He laughed about it. What a sick...
The lips started forming the F, Joe. Final thoughts to you, my friend.
A, you don't have a minute and a half left in your week because you go on Gutfeld later, 10 p.m. Eastern, only on the Fox News channel. Yes. Well, again, we're talking about perception here, Todd, right? And these stories are leaked to the press. Stories like Joe Biden is passionate, he's engaged while he's behind closed doors to the point where he morphs into, Samuel L. Jackson dropping F-bombs in front of staff. The goal is to portray Mr. Biden as Scranton Joe, right? The backward hat-wearing, blue-collar guy who is as tough as Trump and has the authenticity to show for it. By the way, did you see that this story in Politico had more than 4 bylines on it? 4 writers. The White House declined to comment on that story, by the way, because why would they? They already wrote the story. Yeah. So this is the type of thing to put it out there like, Biden's just a real guy, not the guy who stays in billionaire mansions when he goes away on vacation.
You're right. I forgot. I got Perino and Hemmer as well. Gutfeld. I could have cursed all I wanted. They can't kick me off Fox today. Yes, they can. Have a great weekend, Joe. Fox and Friends right now.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.